It is my pleasure on this Saturday morning to reintroduce John Parr, who's been on the show before. John is with the PARR Law Firm at West Hills Office Park at 1800 Cooper Point Road Southwest, building number 20 in Olympia. And John, welcome back to the program. Thank you so very much. Just kind of recap last time's program.
Dick, I think we did an adequate job last time, but I do have to chuckle because I got myself carried away and I started talking about chronic illness and long-term care and this and that, and I went on and on about that, and I noticed you were becoming somewhat depressed, and I forgot what I was doing until towards the very end you said, "Now, John, tell us about the Safe Harbor Trust while you're here."
I wasn't really depressed, but it's serious business. As we get older, we look at long-term disability that a lot of people face, maybe a relative, maybe themselves, or they're worried about their spouse, and you have some answers, and it's good news stuff for people concerned about this. So let's get down to work, John.
Okay, thanks, Dick. We are trying to emphasize in our practice the Safe Harbor Medicaid Qualifying Trust. It's really come to me for a couple of reasons. I noticed that clients that I have worked with in the past, when they come in and ask me to review their wills, don't have long-term care insurance, and as they age and begin to look at chronic illnesses, it seems clear that some kind of long-term care planning is necessary. And so the discussion I have with them is, we can take the share of the first spouse to die and put it in a safe bucket, which will dramatically accelerate the surviving spouse's ability to qualify for Medicaid in the event he or she becomes ill during their lifetime after their spouse dies. So I'm going to run through this fairly quickly, and I think by doing that we'll have an idea of how we can benefit our clients. So Jack and Jill, husband and wife, have a community estate of $800,000.
Okay.
And they come to me and we draft a will for each of them, and instead of Jack leaving his assets to Jill and Jill to Jack, they decide that they will put their estate into a safe harbor trust.
Okay, explain that.
Well, first of all, they have $800,000, and when Jack passes away, instead of giving his $400,000 to Jill, he puts it into a bucket. It's a trust that's set up upon his death, and once that money is put over there, $400,000, Jill will continue to have the use of it, but she'll never become the owner of it. And if she contacted a chronic illness or disability and she spent down her $400,000, she could qualify for Medicaid without even touching the $400,000 that Jack put aside in this bucket for her. So it's protected, and it dramatically accelerates her ability to qualify for Medicaid.
This is extremely important.
Think about that. Since we talked last, I have worked with 4 or 5 clients, and they determined that a Medicaid qualifying trust would be beneficial to them, and I think we have sheltered for these people over $2 million. That's significant in that it gives them the assurance that they'll always have some money to fall back on if they need to, but yet they'll still have the ability to qualify for Medicaid if at all possible.
Okay, how about other opportunities for a safe harbor trust?
An individual can use a safe harbor trust during their lifetime using a particular way of transferring assets. So I don't want people to think that we're just talking about a husband and a wife and wills. There are other planning opportunities for individuals, but the easiest, most straightforward, and really the one that seems to affect the most people is the husband and wife situation. But when people come and talk to us, even if they're so single, there are opportunities for them.
So they might want to leave some money to their kids or a friend or charity.
Absolutely, and that whole piece of it, the extension of that simply may be a topic for another day. I just really want to make it clear today that husbands and wives have the ability to take one half of their estate and lock it up in the event of long-term illness. And so what's the big deal here, and why in the world is all this talk? And I think it is because, and this is the misery part that we spent so much time on before, I'm just going to highlight it, but my emphasis here is not the trepidation of going through life, okay? People are living longer. Advances in medical care are keeping people with chronic illness and disabilities alive longer. The illnesses that we are getting that are ultimately terminating our life are cancer and heart failure, organ failure, and all these things. And health care is making us live longer, although the quality of our life may not be what we want it to be. And we all hope we're just going to wake up someday, walk into the living room, and drop over dead. But the truth is...
I hope that all the time, John.
Well, you know, if you got to go, you want to go easy, right?
Right.
The truth is, suddenly dying is maybe a hope, but dying is a long and involved process in America, and healthcare is dragging it on and keeping us alive much longer. And so we do have to step up to the possibility of paying for long-term care.
And John, I want to thank you because I just not too long ago went through the experience with a family member, and you were there every step of the way to help.
Yeah.
And I want to just personally thank you on the air here for all you did for me and my family. John, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Dick, very much.
So how do